Liverpool has been crowned the champions of the Premier League this season, so all eyes turn to the top four race to secure a place in the Champions League this season. Manchester United graded Southampton with the aim to get all 3 points to keep on chasing Chelsea and Leicester City. The Red Devils have had a great run of form lately. In this episode, we're gonna take a look at how Man United dropped the valuable 2 points to the Saints. With the return of Pogba, Sousa fielded a 4-2-3-1 formation, with Pogba partnered up with Matip. Bruno was in the middle of the midfielder trio, with Greenwood and Rashford on either side. Martial was at the top of this formation. For the Saints, Ralph Hasenhuttl selected his trademark 4-4-2 formation, which has been a critical factor that saved the season for him. From relegation candidate at the start of this season, they are now well above the bottom. The only absent noticeable was in the middle, where Højbjerg was not fit to start. So what was the plan for the visitor? Southampton with the high pressing system as usual, as they press in a 4-4-2 shape. Pogba was therefore enveloped in a rectangle of 4 Southampton players. Hasenhuttl knows for sure that neutralizing Pogba would certainly make the game much easier for the Saints. Within this shape, Southampton pressed high up the field, forming a pressing trap targeted Pogba position. Danny Ings and his partner occasionally opened up passing route to Pogba. Once the ball reaches Pogba, Southampton trap will close in, forcing turnover from the Frenchman. This style of play is depicted in their stat being the third highest pressing team in the Premier League according to their PPDA stat, which is the opponent passes per defensive action. The first goal for Southampton was the result of this effective pressing, although Maguire was not the one to blame in the second equalizer at the last minute of the match. He was the main culprit in the first goal after Pogba turned over the ball to Redmond. Maguire had to mark Armstrong as he made him run into the far post. Lindelof has already marked Adams. Maguire's fault in tracking Armstrong's run to the far post cost Manchester United this opening goal. This pressing system not only remains high from goal kicks, but also when opponents play to their defense. That's the trigger for the forwards and the midfielders to sprint on man-marking basis, not allowing the opponent to restart. The Saints strikers are instrumental in this high-pressing style. Jumping into goalkeeper while curving their run, they perform these runs so as to cut off the pass to the centre backs, as shown in the next picture, with Ings arriving into the box to force the long ball. Redmond, who is played in the left midfield role, was extremely important in this pressing system, given that Armstrong was often the player to join the front two to create a 3-man press in attack. Redmond played as the wide central midfielder or vice versa. Southampton approached to the final third by long balls, but the difference from a team that lost 9 goals to Leicester City now is that they stick to Hasenhuttl brand of football back in RB Leipzig, which is to use counter-pressing to win the ball back high up the field when the long ball did not go as planned. This is one of the factors that they are safe and sound and still clear of the relegation zone. Counter-pressing using pressing traps set up by 2 narrow forwards and the 2 central midfielders. When Man United played the ball between the lines, the Saints trapped them with as many players as possible. This defensive overload, keeping a short distance between the lines, gave access to the ball carrier. Hasenhuttl especially favors maintaining numerical advantage on the flanks, where United possesses explosive players on both flanks, with Rashford on the left, Bissaka on the right, while Bruno and Martial often drifted to the flank to assist, sitting on top of a triangle. This is how Southampton accommodates these speedy players. In overall, Southampton did not approach this match in a defensive mindset, given that they are facing a team like Manchester United, desperate for the 3 points. Hasenhuttl wanted the team to be offensive from the start, playing with only 2 CBs when in possession. Bertrand and Walker Peters was surprisingly sitting high up the field compared to their direct opponents, as shown in the heat map of these players. Wan-Bissaka was then pushed deeper compared to his average position in recent games, which Manchester United had a really good run of form. 2 goals within 3 minutes arose from the fact that having 2 CBs versus 2 forwards for Manchester United like Rashford and Martial, 2 players known for their explosive dribbling and clinical finishing. United relied on individual performance rather than tactical prowess to strike back. Martial's second goal giving United the lead was a prime example. The Red Devil forwards remained quite high when in possession, pinning down Southampton's 3-man defensive line. Since the Saints uses counter-pressing, they are prone to be caught with gigantic space when United could break out the first 2 lines of pressing. The effect that Man United forwards had on Southampton's last line of defense was intriguing. Rashford and Greenwood both made runs straight forward, stretching Southampton's defense, which enabled Martial to penetrate the box in a 1v1 situations versus Walker Peters. From start to finish, Southampton was a joy to watch tactically. 9 shots, in which 5 on target, retained more possession against the midfield trio of Bruno, Pogba and Matip was not an easy job to do. 81% of successful passing rate, more than Manchester United specifically, and the fact that Southampton dictated their playing style on Manchester United was the impressive thing to do for Ralph Hasenhuttl. To cope with the 3-man pressing system from Southampton, Matip dropped in between 2 CBs to even out the number, using his dribbling and passing range to break out of the pressure, like in this instant that led to Rashford with a clear-cut chance in 1v1 with the keeper. If only he was not offside, Manchester United could have had an even earlier equalizer. Why did Southampton target Pogba but not Matip for this possession? In stat comparison, Matip was better when facing pressure and making progressive dribbles from deep, having 93% of successful dribbles in all competition, while Pogba was only 74%. Pogba was dispossessed 4 times in this match, 2 of which were in Area 14, resulted from his own unsuccessful touches. For Matip, 3 times all high up the field, keeping in mind that he is more defensive-oriented. Pogba was not really suitable for playing as deep-lying playmaker. He was poised for more errors leading to attempts on goals. With his attributes, partnering up directly with Bruno high up the field is much more lethal. Matip sitting a little bit higher than Pogba in this match should be dropped and playing like pure ball-winning defensive midfielder. Perhaps the recurring theme throughout the game was Manchester United's use of channels. These wide areas were vacated by the extremely attacking the Saints fullbacks. The ball put in behind the channel was often used in transition with Rashford or Greenwood benefiting from making some strong forward runs and causing major problems for Southampton defense. Aside from individual mistakes arising at the back, even in the last minute, it is a basic necessity to mark the opposition when defending corners or else you get punished. The media has been trolling Maguire for marking his teammate, but taking a closer look at this set piece, you can see how Southampton set up their outlet. With 3 shorter players lurking in the far post where Obafemi was marked by Lindelof, and he was also close to the hair. When the ball was delivered into the box, their top players marched toward the near post, drawing all attention from Manchester United defense, giving space for the players at the far post. What went wrong is the fact that Fred did not engage, isolated from the line of defense, which he should join to keep his integrity. Lindelof was the closest person marking Obafemi and was more than capable of containing himself, but did not do the job properly. It might look silly for Maguire, but he was not the only one to blame in this situation. Man United had a solid performance and should have clinched the 3 points home. Attacking unit that Sosa has in hand at the moment is really scary to the opponent and could satisfy any tactical requirements. Problem arising from the back where mishap happens regularly due to the lack of ball-winning midfielders highlighted by offensive teams like Southampton.